You struck a deal with Apple, 10-year deal, stream direct to consumers around the world that want Major League Soccer, MLS. Why Apple?
Well, they're the perfect company for us, innovative, aggressive, ambitious, really thinking hard about what their future is going to be in the sports streaming place. For us, every game, anywhere in the world,
right,
on any device is perfect for our young and very digitally native fan base. Over 80% of our fans are streaming soccer or football anyway, so we couldn't have really picked a better partner.
Well, let me ask
Apple.
you this. Why not an Amazon, or why not a linear TV package with some of the names you've been associated for the last decade?
Well, we'll still have some linear deals. We'll announce those soon. So it's the combination of linear and then games that we'll have in front of the Apple paywall, games on Apple TV Plus, and then most exciting for us, the first global direct-to-consumer subscription channel, as you've mentioned, which is really going to break new ground for how we'll connect with our fans, whether it's somebody that's watching a game here in Sun Valley or they're watching it in Spain or they're watching it in South America. They're the perfect partner to be thinking about how do we become a global league in the most global sport.
Apple reportedly paid $250 million. I don't know whether you can confirm that's accurate, but what are they getting out of this? Is there actually a belief that Apple will grow its Apple TV Plus or its own subscription audience because there's a demand for MLS?
Well, it's a multi-billion-dollar deal over time, and I mean, for them, this is the perfect way for them to be thinking about the live sports experience for their consumers. So what it meant to them is a good question for Apple. As I've mentioned, for us, when we were thinking about aggregating all of our content, our local games, our youth matches, our second division, which is called MLS Next Pro, every game that we have, whether it's in market or out of market, you now have an experience for a fan that is unprecedented. And that for us is really, really exciting.
Does it bring you a global audience?
Oh, without doubt. So, as you know, we just signed Gareth Bale. Comes over from Real Madrid. He's playing in Los Angeles. And maybe there's some small Argentinian guy that might come to our league.
I've seen some reports,
at some point. So you could think that you'd have as many subscribers and fans in Buenos Aires or in Barcelona or in Madrid or in Wales when you sign global players. We're a global league needing a global platform. And this will give us that opportunity to expand the breadth and scope of our media business.
Football or soccer has grown.
Let's call it soccer.
Soccer has grown enormously in North America, right? You've gone from a situation where you're almost at 29 teams with the expansion, 3 stadiums dedicated to soccer, to now 26, something like that. Where do you invest next? Is there another deal to be done? What is that? How do you grow to the next step?
It's a great question. It's $10 to $15 billion in investment in the league over the last number of years. A lot of that is in these unique, almost cathedrals for the sport, these 26 stadiums that you mentioned. We opened up a brand new one in Nashville, Tennessee. 30,000 fans, it's sold out every game. Now the move is on content. So how do you invest in delivering the right experience with our local teams, in many ways being content delivery producers for our new service?
Yeah.
How do you now think about the next generation of development of our player pool so that when we have the ability to develop young players, sell them overseas? Big announcement of 2 ex-MLS players going to the Premier League today.
That's right.
Bringing in young players in their prime that are playing overseas. Being a global player in both the purchasing and selling of players, there's going to be an enormous amount of investment out in the years to come.
2 quick questions. The men's soccer team going to the World Cup, does that boost the MLS?
Oh, without doubt. The interest in our league grows with our national team playing in the World Cup. We see those boosts of interest and energy. Our league was born out of the 1994 World Cup, and imagine the rocket fuel that we'll have leading up to the 2026 World Cup. But beyond the fact that we'll have so many young American players, 40 or 50 of our players will play for national teams that'll be in the World Cup. So we have players from 70 different countries playing in Major League Soccer, more than any other league in the world. The World Cup is the showcase and platform for that.
Before I run out of time, there's a chap called Todd Boehly who bought a club called Chelsea, which I've supported for the majority of my life, as you know. He says that the Premier League is undervalued. Are clubs in the MLS undervalued?
You know, listen, I think the value in sports is driven by ultimately, you know, what the opportunity is, what people are willing to pay, and how have owners, if you will, or leagues been able to exploit their intellectual property. I do believe our teams are undervalued, and Todd could speak better about what he thinks about the Premier League. What I'll say is that the future of our league and the future of the sport in America is so bright, and there's so many endless opportunities with just the overall diversity of our consumer base, the fact that we'll have more teams and more stadiums.
Right.
Our best years, particularly with a new partnership with Apple. I just saw that you mentioned the new IMG Arena sports betting deal that we did. There's so many great intellectual property opportunities that we've not yet even fully exploited. So best days are still ahead.